Okay, welcome to the second part of the auto suggest field tutorial. In this part of the tutorial, we're going to be creating the markup for the index page, so the page that you're going to first land on, and then we're going to start to implement like the style sheet. We're probably not going to be touching on styles in this part of the tutorial. Implementing jQuery, our JavaScript file, etc. So we're starting to build up our directory structure. As you can see at the moment, I've just got index.php, so we're going to be building the directory structure as we go. We're not going to do it all in one go. So the first thing we want to do is we want to declare our doc type. I'm going to declare a doc type for HTML5, only seems necessary. And basically this means that if we do want to implement any HTML5 elements in the future, then we can, so it just makes everything a lot better. So I'm going to create a head for this, and I'm going to give it a title. So let's just give it a title of auto suggest field. And down here we want to give a link to our style sheet. So we want to say link rel equals style sheet. HTML5 doesn't require a type, so we can just say href, and this is the link to our style sheet. Now our style sheet is going to be in a CSS folder, and we're going to call this screen.css. And all our styles are going to be contained in there. So in the next part of the tutorial, we're going to be creating the actual style sheet itself. Let's come down and create the body of the document. And in here, we want to go ahead and around here create our field, and down here we want to include our scripts. So if we go over to our browser and we load up jQuery.com and we click download here, making sure we've got the production version selected, we can go ahead and just copy and paste this URL in. Probably better to save a local copy of this, but just to save time when I'm creating things like this, I prefer to just take the URL straight from the jQuery website. So let's go ahead and create our script tags. Again, HTML5 doesn't require you to give a type on this, so we can just say script source equals. I'm going to go ahead and just paste that straight in. Okay, and don't forget your ending script tag. So the next one, script source equals, and this is going to be our custom JavaScript file that we're going to be going and creating our the functionality to allow us to do what we're doing here. And this is going to be in a JS folder, and I'm going to call this primary.js. It's just any general styles that we want, keeping it to one file. Okay, so now that we've done that, we need to start going ahead and building up the actual, elements. So let's go ahead and close off jQuery. You can see at the moment we've got nothing on our page. We want to start going ahead and building up, first of all, the the input field that we're going to be able to type in, the search button, which is irrelevant, and then the drop down for the results. So in here we want an input, and the type is going to be text. And the class, we're going to give this a class so we can identify it, is going to be auto suggest. Okay. So after this, we're going to create our submit button. Now notice I'm not ending script tags like that. That's another HTML5 thing. You're not required to end a self-contained element, so we don't need to use a forward slash there. I'm going to go ahead and give this a value, and I'm going to call that search. Now, like I said before, our search button doesn't do anything. It's just there for show at the moment, in case you did want to incorporate some kind of search. So now we've got our search field, essentially, and our search button. Now what we want to do is go ahead and down here create a div with a class of drop down that's going to allow us to display our results. So we're not going to be styling this just yet, but we are going to be creating the markup. So we create a div area, and I'm going to call this drop down. And then inside of here, we want an unordered list. Now the unordered list is essentially, we're going to style this out so it displays us a list of results. It's semantic, it makes semantic sense to do it like this. So UL, and then we're going to say class equals result. And then in here, what we're going to do is we're not actually going to create any we're not actually going to create any LIs because that's going to be passed through for PHP. But in order to style it, we need to actually create some of these, you know, so we can see what we're styling. So I'm just going to come in here and type in London, Manchester, and let's say New York. So I'm typing 3 examples in, so when we go ahead and preview that in the browser, you see we've got this. Now it's far from finished at the moment, but in the next part we're going to be styling this up. That involves getting rid of the list bullets here, pulling this across and up, and then giving it a border for each one. So, you know, it might look difficult, it might look hard to style, but in actual fact our style sheet is quite short, and it's probably longer than it could be. I've just, you know, sort of taken an easy route round here. It's not a CSS tutorial, but we are going to be styling this as best we can and as efficiently as we can. So in the next part, we are going to look at styling it. We've completed our markup. Everything is there that we need. We've created our our reference to our JavaScript in our style sheet file. And yeah, in the next part, we're going to start styling this up.